Autumn is really starting to settle in around here, and with the changing season comes the important task of getting the garden ready for fall. One of the most exciting parts of that process is planting garlic, which we'll be doing today, along with setting up this brand new garden bed that I'm so excited to try out. Vegega was kind enough to send me this L-shaped raised garden bed, and I can already tell after setting it up that I'm super impressed. I absolutely love the color that I chose, which is called Reseda Green. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. But it's a beautiful sage green color that I think will look really good in my garden and will look really pretty with some colorful flowers and veggies growing inside of it. And I will include all of the information down in the description box, including the link where you can check out the Vegega website and all of the raised beds that they have to offer. So this raised bed came with everything needed for an easy setup, and I was actually pretty impressed with how easy it was. This is my first time using a raised metal bed, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing how it performs compared to just like the traditional wooden boxes. We have a couple in the garden already that are only about 6 inches tall, and because we used non-treated wood, they're kind of starting to rot and fall apart. So I actually am really excited to try a metal raised bed. So right off the bat, when you open your package and take all of the panels out, there is this plastic film that's on every single panel that you have to peel off before you can start assembling it. And I will say it was pretty tedious, but I gathered all my boys to help me, and we actually got that done pretty quickly in like about 10 minutes. So it actually came with everything that you need to assemble the bed. The only thing that I will say you would want to have is a screwdriver or something to kind of like hold the screws so that you can tighten them. But you can see here the instructions were very, very clear and easy to understand. I put this whole thing together by myself in just about 2 hours. I was excited to see that these are made out of like eco-friendly material. The paint that's on the outside is non-toxic. So you don't have to worry about like soil contamination or the beds heating up or anything. Honestly, the longest part was just getting all of the screws into the holes because there's 4 on each end of each panel, so it does kind of take some time to get all this put together, but I kept telling myself this is only like something I have to do one time, and then the bed will be put together forever. So it really wasn't that long. Again, when I had my kids come and help me, it went much faster. Most of these beds are also customizable, so if you purchase like the rectangle one, I think it's like the 4x8, you can make it into a rectangle or a square. So we're going to finish setting this up into an L shape, and then we will put the rubber around the top and get it filled in. Alright, so we got our garden bed all set up, and we are about to move it right here to this spot. I think I'm going to put it right here in the corner so I can kind of frame out my garden, because this whole area right here is our garden, so this will be the top corner right here. So I think I'm going to turn it and put it in this corner and just kind of make like the top edge of our entire garden perimeter. Okay, so as you can see, this side right here kind of lines up with the edge of our garden, and then it just goes straight down and follows this side of our garden. So I think this will be a really nice garden bed to accentuate the corner up here, which is where I like to put a lot of like herbs and garlic and things like that. So I think it's going to work well. So all we have left is to put the rubber on the top of the bed, which goes all around the perimeter so that it's not quite as sharp. So we're going to put that on. And then I need to level the bed, and then we're going to start to fill it. So I was a little worried when I was putting the black rubber around the edges that I wasn't pulling it quite tight enough, and then I was afraid I wasn't going to make it all the way around. This is where I started. But this is all extra right here, so they definitely gave a good amount, which is nice because it's better to have to cut off a little piece than to not pull it tight enough and have to like redo the whole thing. Okay, so now the next step is just to level it. It's kind of a little bit of uneven ground right here where my garden is. You can see there's some gaps down there at the bottom. I'm gonna try to level it real quick and get it even, and then we will fill it in. So now that I have it leveled out, I'm gonna start filling it. And what I'm gonna do first is put some cardboard in the bottom of it as a weed suppressor. And then I'm just gonna layer in a bunch of these kinds of like twigs and just extra stalks that I've pulled out of the garden that are dead. The big bulky things you're gonna wanna put in the bottom. And then we're gonna kind of do like the lasagna method of mulching. So we're gonna put our biggest things at the bottom and then work our way smaller to the top, and the very top layer will be compost. So it's only going to be dirt and compost about halfway down, and then the bottom half is going to be our layered cardboard, sticks, logs, branches, stuff that I pull out of the garden that's dead, things like that, so that it kind of is like a filler and I don't have to dump the whole thing full of compost. And that stuff will break down eventually and turn into good dirt and compost, so that's what we're gonna do. So I actually remembered that we had this pile of wood shavings from when we had puppies in our barn, and it's been breaking down for about a year now. So I went and got 2 wheelbarrows full of puppy shavings, and we're gonna throw that on top of the raised bed as well as the next step before we lay in the good compost. So one of the main reasons that I am excited to try planting my garlic in this raised bed is because the past 2 years I plant it in the fall and my chickens always come and scratch up the garlic that I have planted, and then it always ends up surfacing to the top and being exposed to just like the air and the elements, and then it doesn't grow as well. So I'm excited to try it this year in a raised bed because I have a couple hoops that I can put on top of this with some netting that I think will really help to keep the chickens out of it. Plus it's 17 inches tall, so I'm hoping, even though they can kind of jump and fly, that they won't see like the fresh dirt to want to go up there and scratch it and expose all of the garlic. Alright, so now it is time to lay the compost. The last about 6 to 8 inches are going to be really good compost. So I had Chris go get a couple tractor buckets full. So we're just going to dump that in and spread it out, and then it will be time to plant. All right, so now it is time to plant the garlic. And honestly, all I do is save garlic from the previous year. And then you're just gonna take that bulb and pull all the cloves apart. And I kind of peel them back just a little bit. And then you're just gonna plant them about 6 inches down in the dirt. You do wanna make sure that you plant the flat end down in the ground and plant it in a way that the pointy end is facing up, because that is the way that is going to grow and send out a new shoot. Another thing that's really nice about these metal raised beds is because they're raised up out of the ground, the soil is going to warm up a lot faster in the spring and will stay quite a bit warmer into the fall, which is why I'm going to wait and plant some spinach and lettuce in here as well on the other side, because with our climate, I know that I can probably harvest that stuff into the beginning of December. The way these beds are designed, it kind of dissipates the heat around, keeping the soil evenly warm. And like I said, they come in lots of different color options. I just chose this green because I like the earthy colors. But they, from what I can tell already, are super high quality at such a great price. You're also going to have much better drainage in a raised bed like this. Now hopefully within a few weeks we start to see some of these garlic sprouts come up out of the dirt, in which case I'm going to come with some leaf mulch and cover them so that they stay nice and warm for the winter. But otherwise we will plant a little bit of spinach and lettuce in a couple weeks in here. So I am excited to see how everything does in this raised bed. I've included all the links that you'll need down in the description box below, where you can check out the Vegega website. And if you do use our link, you will also receive 10% off your first purchase.